Dante recited the final words of the incantation, his voice steady and precise. For a moment, nothing happened, and a heavy silence settled over the square. Then, from the shadows, a dark figure emerged, gliding silently through the night. A crow swooped down, landing on a nearby rock, its dark feathers gleaming under the moonlight. Dante and Aurora didn't notice the bird, their eyes scanning the square for any sign of the elusive whistler. Suddenly, the crow began to shimmer, golden particles swirling around it as it perched on the rock. In a flash, its form shifted, feathers dissolving into light, until in its place stood a tall, cloaked figure with piercing eyes and an aura of mystery. The whistler had arrived.
Well, well, well. If it isn't Dante of Ignis. And who might this be?
This is Aurora from House Lumina.
The whistler's eyes narrowed, his smirk widening as he observed her, a faint glint of interest flashing in his gaze.
An Ignis and a Lumina working together? Interesting. Interesting indeed. And how is your father these days, Dante?
Dante's jaw tightened at the mention of his father, but he didn't reply. The whistler merely laughed, the sound soft and knowing.
But enough pleasantries. What brings you two to my doorstep?
Without wasting any time, Dante and Aurora explained the urgency of their mission. The stolen phoenix, their journey through the chamber, and the portal that had brought them here. The whistler listened in silence, nodding thoughtfully as they spoke. When they finished, he tilted his head, a gleam of amusement in his eyes.
So, the great secret of Celestia is no longer so secret, is it?
Aurora's eyes widened. She hadn't expected him to know the phoenix's name, and a quiet realization dawned on her. The whistler truly knew things even the council had kept hidden. His reputation for gathering secrets was well earned.
I'm afraid I don't have information on who took your precious phoenix, but I can tell you something that may lead you to the culprit. The Chamber of Shadows where you two found yourselves is a rare enchantment, a mental trap. Only a handful of wizards remain who can cast such a spell. There was once a legion of mages known as the Sixth House. Long ago they wielded powerful mental magic, operating from the very territory that is now the Whispering Vale.
The Sixth House?
Yes, the Sixth House. Though officially disbanded, some of its members remain scattered among us. They were the only ones who mastered spells of the mind, like the Chamber of Shadows you encountered. And there were 5 former members present at the Lunar Eclipse Festival.
5 suspects?
The whistler nodded again, his gaze sharpening.
5 suspects indeed. And to create the chamber within a portal, the spellcaster would need a very specific tool. An Elderwood wand.
The implication settled over them like a dark cloud. Somewhere among the suspects was someone capable of manipulating the mind and skilled enough to set a trap. And now they had 5 names, but only one clue to identify the thief. They would be carrying an Elderwood wand.
If only 5 former members of this 6th house were present, then we need to find out which of them wields an Elderwood wand.
Before either of them could ask more, the whistler disappeared as silently as he had arrived. A breeze stirred where he'd stood, the only trace of his presence, and Dante and Aurora were left alone once more in the empty square. Without another word, they hurried back to Elderwood Academy. They needed to find those records in the library. Names, backgrounds, and clues that would reveal which of the 5 former members of the 6th house held an Elderwood wand. Once inside the library, they began their search in earnest, poring over the dusty tomes and records, piecing together what they could find about the suspects. To recover the phoenix, they would need to identify the one carrying the Elderwood wand.